Good morning and good evening, friends. Omega Pyramid Dallas, PSSM Corporate, and Pyramid Valley International welcome you all to day 46 of Stillness Bit, your daily dose of meditation and wisdom. So today we have Sharat Master with us to take us through the meditation. Let's welcome him.
Sharat has not joined yet, Prithvi.
Okay. All right. So let's begin the meditation then. Friends, as we all know, let's get into the meditation with the 5 simple steps. Cross your feet, clasp your hands. If you're wearing spectacles, please remove it. Sit most comfortably. Comfort is the first step. Close your eyes. And relax completely. Forget everything what has happened throughout the day and dedicate this next 40 minutes for just yourself. Today, let's do a deeper relaxation of the body. Bring your awareness to the skull of your head. Observe the sensation on the top of your scalp and relax it completely. Bring your awareness to the forehead and observe the sensation. Are there any tingling or tightness? Just relax. Relax your eyebrows. Relax your eyes. Relax your eyelids. Let it relax completely. Relax your cheeks, your teeth, let all the muscles in your face get into the most relaxed state. Don't hold any tightness in the face. Now relax your shoulders. Let all the burden that you carry, all the responsibilities just drop into the earth and relax it. Relax your throat. Relax all the words that you have spoken. Just let it drop. Any tightness in the throat, loosen it up and relax. Let's relax now the chest area. Bring your awareness to your chest area. Become aware of your heart. Relax it. Let all the emotions, memories stored be released. And just relax all the tension the heart is holding. Put it on the most relaxed state. Now bring your awareness to the abdomen. Let all the fear, contraction, just ease. Get into the most relaxed, comfortable state and breathe into the abdomen. Let go of all the worry from your abdomen. Relax your stomach. Relax your gut. Relax all the organs within the abdomen. Let them not hold any tension, worry, fear. Just put it into most relaxed state. Relax your pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Loosen up any kind of tightness in the muscle. Relax your knees. If you're holding on any kind of rigidity, let it go from your knees and make it most flexible and relaxed. Relax your calf muscles. Relax your feet. Relax all the fingers in your feet. Relax the sole of your feet. Let it release any unwanted energies from the system. Now observe, are you holding any kind of tightness anywhere in the body? If yes, just relax those muscles. Relax the spine, your arms, your hands. Relaxation is the first step to forget ourselves. Now bring your complete awareness on how the breath is happening. See how, in a relaxed state, the inhalation and the exhalation is happening. Be with the breath, friends. For the next 10 minutes, keep observing the breath, cut the thoughts, and make friendship with the breath. your friends. Drop the mind. Ease the mind. Let it relax and not analyze. Think, just ease. Easy is always right. Ease your mind and sincerely be with the breath, the only tool which gives life. Be with it and become one with the breath.
As enemies of mind that all my thoughts just be with the breath. Feel the still sensation of your inhalation and exhalation from the breath. Your hands and bring your awareness to your heart center and allow the next few words to resonate from your heart. Let us heal ourselves and everything around us. Please repeat mentally these statements after me. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And I thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And I thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And I thank you. One last time. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. Now let us shield ourselves by making these agreements. Repeat these mentally after me. I will be impeccable with my words. I will not take anything personally. I will not make assumptions. I will do my best. Now just relax. Next 1 minute.
Last 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can unclasp your hands and place it on your eyes for 5 seconds. And open your eyes with a bright smile. Thank you. Thank you all. Hope all of us are back from meditation. Thank you so much for meditating with us today. And friends, as we all know, today is the masterclass, and we have Dr. Sai Krupa Sagar sir with us to take us through the topic. So let's welcome Sagar sir. We all know him. He's the CEO and founder of Quantum Coherence Technologies, and trustee of Pyramid Valley International. So let's welcome him to the Stillness Beat. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Namaste. Good morning and good evening to everyone. Hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. So, wonderful meditation, and really appreciate all the efforts of the team and Prithvi, Sirisha, Vikalji, and I see a lot of people conducting meditations, right? So it's an awesome effort. I think what you are into 46, day 46, is it today?
Yes, sir. 46th day.
Wonderful. Good effort. Kudos to all your effort. And I think, as I say, right, in one of the factors of enlightenment that Buddha talks about is energy. And even Yoga Sutras talk about Abhyasa and Vairagya. Abhyasa is practice. And what you are doing to the rest of us and what yourself you are doing is that practice and doing it every day. That perseverance is very important for all of us on the spiritual practice, we know. So thanks to all of you for enabling that for thousands more, right, who are joining this and or watching the videos as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So should we get started?
Yes, sir. Let's start with the topic, the karma mind-body connection. Let's dive into it.
Wonderful. So I know there have been spectacular presentations on psychosomaticity the whole of last week or whole of this week, right? And then I happened to watch a few on the YouTube just to see what has been spoken about, and it was mind blowing. The content that Prithvi presented and others presented has been mind blowing. I think one of the sessions also touched upon. I think you also covered Ashtavakra's teachings, right? Ashtavakra Gita is one of my favorite books as well. So wonderful philosophy, wonderful wisdom from that book, and you also dive deep into the science behind it, right? So today I just want to kind of continue on a similar topic, right? So we saw mind, thoughts, emotions. How does it have an impact on the body and also the philosophy of life? What I want to do today is focus on the karma aspect of it. Okay, able to see the slides? Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see.
Yes. So karma, body. So you've been listening to the body-mind connection or the mind-body connection, our thoughts, how every thought has an impact on our body. But there is also some of the thoughts and emotions originate from our karma. I'm not going to dive deep into the karmic aspects and other things. So the wisdom I'm going to share is based on Sadhguru's book on karma and Buddha's four foundations of mindfulness. I just finished that mindfulness course as well. So as I speak to you and as you are listening right now, your mind is writing itself into the body. Every thought you're having, we all learned, right, in the last few classes, every thought you're having produces a chemical reaction. And every micro emotion, whether it is curiosity, whether it is skepticism, whether it is fear, whether it is, oh, I know this, right, or restlessness, or your relaxation, whatever it is altering our physiology in real time. And the single most important thing we all know, and Patriji has been talking about it, we are not the bodies that happen to have minds. We are psychosomatic organisms, right? Mind and body are not two separate systems. They influence each other. They are one seamless process. The human being is a psychosomatic organism. It's not, so usually what happens is, at least till a few years ago, I used to think about psychosomaticity as in the context of a chronic illness, right? Whether it is hypertension or diabetes or migraine headaches, that's when this whole psychosomaticity come, oh, it's a psychosomatic disease. But the fact is, we are a psychosomatic organism. That is how things happen. Every thought And Prithvi has covered very neatly on what are the neurochemical reactions that happen in our body as we think, right? And then there are a lot of books that are written on that also. The positive thought has a different neurochemicals, a negative thought of, let's say, fear, regret has a different neurochemicals, right? When I talk about karma in this presentation, I'm not talking about a cosmic reward and punishment mechanism. I'm just talking a little bit more practical. It is just simple stored information, karmic information. Karma is stored as a residue of every action that we perform at the level of body, mind, and energy. Every thought we think, every emotion we feel, every action we do leaves an imprint on our system. And I'll talk about how meditation cleanses that imprints in our psyche. So psychosomaticity is not an exotic condition, right? It is something that happens every day, and that continuous process of chemistry continues to happen every moment. And that's what we come to what we call as a psychosomatic loop. So what is this mechanism? First, a mental fluctuation arises, a thought, an emotional impulse. It could be a memory of a difficult conversation, or some of you might be feeling, oh, this is already covered a couple of days ago. Or it could be something about what am I going to do on this Sunday. And it could be a worry, it could be a worry about something future, it could be regret about something in the past, right? They're all thoughts. So that is what happens. That is a mental fluctuation. And then immediately there is a chemical reaction. You went through this, you saw the whole deep process. There is a chemical reaction that happens in terms of that is why you feel something different, something pleasant, something unpleasant. And then there is a physical sensation happens. Every thought and every emotion has an equivalent physical sensation. A bodily feeling arises, which reinforces the mental fluctuation, and which again triggers a similar kind of thought. That even Joe Dispenza talks about that loop, how this whole thought, the chemical reaction, and the physical sensation happens. So, and round it goes. That's where it ends up in rumination. That's where it ends up in the chatty mind. The loop gathers momentum over a lifetime. And I've seen this in a lot of people I work with, and then I've seen it in myself as well. Maybe at 25 years of age, there is a little bit of this in our psychosomatic body, right? And we can shake that up. Maybe early meditation practices, early spiritual practices, early awareness of this wisdom probably shakes it back. But by 45, let us say 20 years later or 50, this loop, if someone is not aware of that, the loop keep on continuing, then we accumulate a lot more of those residue. That is why, if you look at it, it's very difficult for a lot of people to change their habits, change their thinking patterns, because it is embodied in them. This loop, unchecked for decades, has become deeply entrenched in our bodies. So it's very difficult to change. And that is why Patriji fantastically said, you need the amount of meditation that you need depends on your age. Because the more years have passed, the psychosomatic loop, as the karmic loop, has kind of worked deep in yourself. And you obviously need a little longer times of meditation, longer sadhana than you probably need when you are 18 or when you are 25. So every mental fluctuation, so the loop has become cumulative, impact on the cellular and genetic memory, it's all covered, and body becomes addicted to your own stress chemistry, right? That is why we react the same way we used to react, let's say 5 years ago, to a similar situation. And again, all these reactions are not universal, right? Every one of us has a different reaction to different things. So karma is like a program, like an old software that we have written for ourselves unconsciously. And it's updating on a daily basis. It's not like that update that you periodically do. And sometimes Windows or some of the mobile do an automatic update at the most inappropriate moment. You want to begin a presentation, that's when the update happens. Of course, you can turn it off. But similarly, there is an unconscious update that keeps happening if you're not aware. Right? A lot of us meditators, one of the biggest things all spiritual practices teach is elevating that level of awareness, elevating that level of consciousness. Our senses keep collecting. This is how the software is written, right? And Buddha also talks about this whole spiritual scientific, the science behind it, right? And all of spiritual science, yogic science talks about the same thing. Our senses are collecting data every moment. The way we feel, the taste, what we are hearing, right? Everything. So the senses collect all the data, and then over time, the data forms a pattern, and then the patterns shape into tendencies. When I say karma, it is those tendencies. It is those imprints. And then we also call it as vasanas, right? And those vasanas, when they repeat again and again, they become stronger lines in our neocortex. They form stronger networks of neurons, right? And over time, they become what is called the samskaras. And samskaras are one that pass on from generations to generations. And all this is karmic residues written into our genetic material, into our DNA. So what we consider to be as myself is just an accumulation of all these karmic tendencies, which kind of show up as habits, show up as predispositions that we have acquired over time because of the unconscious process. So what do we do? The good thing is, number one, once we understand this is what is happening unconsciously. So the good news is, the moment we become conscious of it, this whole unconscious programming stops happening. And because it is software, we talked about, it's a program, right? And all of us coming from software engineers, we are I sometimes think software engineers are one of the most gifted people, because whatever errors they get into the software, they can go back and fix it easily. Unlike a hardware device, unlike a manufacturing defect in a table or or a building, it's very difficult to fix it. So that is why we software engineers take it easy. Okay, I write the software, later I can always go and fix it. So very similarly, we can also fix the program of karma, program of psychosomatism in our body. And the psychosomatic trap we all fall. A lot of people say, I've always been an anxious person. This is just how I am. Or more than us, we always say, oh, we cannot change you, right? This is how you are. Nobody can change you. Then sometimes we have this chronic tension headaches, some kind of illness. And a lot of people have accepted, oh, this is all because of my karma. This is all because of my stress patterns that happened over the last several years. I can't do. I need to go. I just need to go and take some medication. But what happens is, every medication that we take addresses only the symptom. The root cause of it doesn't get addressed. And karma talks about, whenever the root cause is not addressed, that residues are already there, they'll kind of turn up as another disease or another situation, another catastrophe in our life. So again, karma in our body can show up in multiple ways. That is why they say, right, every issue or every difficulty, every problem teaches you something. And what is that teaching? It is about unlearning or deprogramming whatever we learned. So this is a software that we can definitely reprogram as we go along, right? And how do you do that is what we'll talk about. Now, all of us know how stress affects the body, right? It's not just merely our lifestyle. It's not just the way we eat, drink, sleep, inhale, all that, right? Even breathing causes some kind of impact on our body. But the subtlest aspects of our thought and emotion can also influence our physical body. That's what psychosomatism teaches us. And you all know, right? We've all been seeing that, we've all been studying that emotional stress causes a change in our posture of our body, changes in our muscular function, right? And then anyone who has experienced a shoulder pain, a back pain, or a neck pain, or some headaches, you go to a doctor, the doctor says it's because of stress. If he's a good doctor, he'll say it's because of stress. And he'll say you have to elevate. So then the first thought is, how come stress has an impact on my body? Stress is more mental. right? I should probably be able to feel less energy, but how is it impact on a body? This is exactly the reason, and that's what you've seen over the week. Psychosomatism, how thoughts and emotions kind of influence our physical structure or physical buildup, right? So this is because all the karmic memory is stored in our musculoskeletal system, right? You can actually do a scan of the muscle, but everything will be fine. You can do an X-ray or you can or any other scans that you have, but it will all show up very well because it is looking at the more physical information. But the body has literally reprogrammed itself around those pockets of emotion or the karmic layer or the energy. We talk about that as karma is a lot more apparent in our energy body or energy layer. And over time, these chemical reactions or chemical deposits accumulate around our key centers of where the nadis meet, which is our chakras, the energy centers. Right? And that is why we say in meditation, or as you continue the practice of meditation, it clears all those energy blocks. How did the energy blocks form? Because of psychosomatism, right? Because of thoughts and emotions, not feeling the emotions fully, right? Undergoing stress. And then also karmic patterns. Also, a lot of us are born with a lot of those karmic residues. That is why if you look at it, the same situation, even a kid, the same situation, they respond to it differently. Some are courageous, some are fearful, some think a lot. Even before they are programmed by the humankind, right? They also already show that kind of influence. Very similarly, the other way that karma and samskaras work is the positive way is the wonderful talent that you see in young kids, right? They're amazing singers, amazing players, and amazing writers, amazing teachers. So that is because of the positive residue. So they know, for example, a singer has a certain energy pattern stored in their whole speech system or vocal system. Right? Similarly, a lot of people have other talents. So this whole modern research into psychoneuroimmunology works on that load that we have, on that karmic baggage that we have. And modern medicine now talks a lot more about psychosomatism, right? Which also recognizes the inseparability between our mental and physical bodies. And some doctors also recognize the energy body. The yogic system recognizes the energy body. So how do we, what is the key factor that causes this whole issues around these imprints, and how do we let go of it, right? The psychosomatic impact of any action is not determined by the action itself. It is determined by the inner state that accompanies it, how we are doing it. Two people, I mean, we all know two people could be doing the same job, same exact programming work, same exact teaching work, same exact maybe corporate work, right? But if they are harboring different kind of feelings, one person is probably loving the job. I love my job. I'm doing that particular work, right? Or the other person might be saying, "Oh my God, I don't know how long I need to bear this. I don't like the boss. I don't like this work." What happens? The same work, but two people are differently affected, right? It is the level of bitterness and hatred that causes karma, not the act alone. What you do, you might be thinking, for example, one of the things you might be, let's say, donating a lot of money. You might be doing seva. We might be doing all the good works, good quote unquote, to the outside world. But if you are doing it from a place of compulsion, if you are doing it from a place of I should, only then I'll probably get a good name, whatever it is, right? So then that adds karma. The act might be good, but the way how we do it is what adds karma. That's what we call it as volition. Volition is about how do we feel. Two leaders, let's say in corporate world, most of us from corporate world, two leaders are presiding a meeting, right? One does it with absolute presence and full engagement, love for the team, love for the work. And the other leader does it with resentment. Oh my God, I should do this. What a crap team I have. Why don't these funny fellows do the right things? So the moment he's kind of thinking like that, the external output might vary. The output might look identical, but the internal biochemical consequences, both in that particular leader and in the people around them, also changes. So what is important here? The way we conduct things, way we do things, what is important? That is why Eckhart Tolle and others talk about presence. Buddha talks about presence. When we are in the present moment awareness, we don't think about the lower emotions. Again, lot of frameworks, even the chakra frameworks talk about when we are emitting emotions of the lower chakras, we add a lot of pain, right? And that's what is karma. So when you are emitting emotions of higher chakras like gratitude, like the Ho'oponopono thing that we did, right? So it always moves us to higher frequencies. So we emit higher frequencies, which doesn't form the same kind of residue as lower frequency emotions happen. So the mental repetition, the rumination, right, is actually the most damaging of it. And that is again where awareness. So someone with awareness, someone with consciousness will understand, oh, this is not the right way of my thinking, and they will fix it. And that is why Patriji has always said it's not just about meditation, it's about swadhyaya, it's about satsanga, right? That wisdom, satsanga allows you to continue the practice. Whereas the wisdom also enhances, oh, now I understand. I am creating I am creating pain for me, I'm creating suffering for me a lot more than what is needed, right? Because of my repetitive thinking patterns. Then you consciously work on it. So work performed with resentment results in toxic inner chemistry, whereas work performed with joyful engagement, it heals our body. You need to be engaged. Even positive psychology talks about it, right? It's about the level of engagement that you have with something that you do is a key factor of happiness. But when we are not aware of what we are doing, when we are not conscious of the pattern that we are fixing, as you see here, you may not be sentenced to prison, but we imprison ourselves in that karmic bondage. That's what we talk about as karmic bondage, right? And the whole reason, I mean, all of you might have heard about the soul's journey and things like that. The whole reason that our souls are operating in this world is to kind of undergo certain experiences to eliminate the karmic bondage, right? Eliminate the karmic residues so that in turn we kind of understand we are consciousness, we are awareness, we are not the mind, we are not the body. So, my dear friends, the important point here, the quality of our inner engagement with whatever we are doing determines the activity, whether that activity heals you or harms you. It is not the external manifestation of the activity, but how we are doing that particular activity. Right? In fact, Sadhguru talks about an example in his book. Let us say if two people are trying to commit the same crime, the person who accidentally does, let's say, takes a knife and accidentally, through some situation, accidentally kills someone or accidentally harms someone, and there is the other person who does the same thing with a real harmful intent, the second person accumulates a lot more karma than the first person. The act is bad, but the intention in our mind of harming the other person adds to the bodily karma much more than someone who's done it unintentionally. So as again, as a lot of spiritual texts say, it's about the intention behind an action. If the intention is good, we feel good. If the intention is bad, then you harm the other person, you harm yourself as well. And we all know, I think you've seen this, right? Pain versus suffering. And Buddha also talks about the second arrow or the second dart. And there are a lot of versions of it, right? So what the first arrow or the first dart is the actual physical pain. Someone has passed a remark, your senses has carried that to you, and you feel bad, right? And then, or you hit yourself against a table, or you fell down, or whatever it is, there is a physical pain. So you'll kind of feel that physical pain. That is the first arrow, the first dart. Whereas what amplifies that pain 10x is the suffering around it. Oh my God, how come? Immediately, I mean, it's happened to me. I keep hitting against some tables or chairs, and immediately there is a voice of my wife, oh my God, how many times do you do this? Right? Or it could be of your parent, how many times did I tell you to walk carefully? That immediately adds up a sense of suffering. Oh my God, why did I do it? Right? Or it could be that remark that someone made, right? Immediately you take it as an affront on your identity. Oh, I am in this position, I shouldn't have been doing this. Why is he passing a remark on me? So all this additional residue is what causes suffering. So suffering is primarily psychological, and that is why we say psychosomatism, most of this chronic illnesses because of that suffering that we do, right? The antidote is you let go of it. I got this, I acceptance and letting go, right? And suffering is 100% self-manufactured because again, those pre-programmed patterns. Your suffering is not because of your circumstances. Your suffering is because of the way you have made yourself. Again, two people, three people, the reaction is going to be different for a particular situation. But we are not dismissing hardship. Pain is real, loss is real, injustice is real. We are not kind of condoning, accepting all the things that are happening as a karmic balance, right? But on the top of every real difficulty, the additional layer of psychological elaboration, psychological skepticism, psychological analysis amplifies the problem 10x. That additional layer is what is that suffering that we bring. And Buddha's whole testimony, whole doctrine is about how do you remove suffering. And these are the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and Lord of Wisdom, right? Similarly, meditation also does that. But when we say suffering, suffering has a physical signature. That is the neurochemical in the physical body. It's that neurochemical disturbances. In the energy body, the energy blocks, right? In your mental body, it is more about the karmic residues and the changes in your neural architecture in your brain, right? So that is psychosomaticity in action, the self-manufactured layer. And that's what causes and that results in a lot of illnesses, right? And how do we avoid it? Obviously through awareness. And then all spiritual religions and the end goal of meditation, including Ana-Pana-Sati meditation, is to get us to that state of equanimity. So if suffering is manufactured through our reactions, there is a way to stop that reactive cycle. And again, this is Buddha's four aspects of the mind, right? How do we say it's cognition, recognition, sensation, reaction. He's such a spiritual scientist. He went into the depth of what causes suffering. And then before that, he decoded, reverse engineered. At any point of time, a sensation happens, a remark, someone passes a remark, or you hit yourself, or the food that we eat, or anything, any sound that you are listening from me or anybody. So there is cognition of it. There is a sense, there is a stimulus that enters through the mind. And then there is recognition, which is where the mind comes in, and it attaches a sense of what to say. It attaches a bit of meaning based on past karmic impressions and past programming, right? And then there is a Vedana. There is a pleasant, unpleasant feeling tone that comes up, and that results in the Shankara, which is a craving. We either want to avoid that particular situation or we want to go towards a particular situation. And that is where karma accumulates. That is where the pre-programmed residue accumulates, right? And so the same sound that brings joy, we all know, all of us have different preferences for music. The same sound that brings joy to one person creates irritation in another. It depends on their stored impressions, stored karmic footprint. And all these things happen automatically in a split second. And this tiny moment, if you are able to give a tiny moment of space between step 3 and step 4, that is when we say the reaction can turn into a response, a conscious response. So if any sensation arises, we have a choice to either react or take a pause and respond. If we remain equanimous, if we have that equanimity that's developed at space, the karma attached to that type of sensation begins to crumble, begins to dissolve. And with equanimity, our entire structure of karma begins to collapse. right? So equanimity is not about being numb. It's not about resignation. It's not about, okay, I don't need to do anything. Nothing affects me any longer, right? That brings a sense of indifference to what we are doing it. But equanimity, when we are in the present moment, you experience life fully. Patriji has always said that life is for experiencing every moment fully. How can we experience every moment fully? When we are not wasting our moment in the past, when we are not wasting our moment worrying about the future, and when we are not wasting that moment adding that layer of suffering around what is happening right now, then we are experiencing life fully. How do you experience life fully? With your all your physical senses, with your energy body completely flowing absolutely perfectly fine, your mind still and silent. All three bodies are absolutely absorbing everything that you are doing, right? And you're not automatically reacting to anything. So that is when your body's chemistry doesn't get impacted. When you're equanimous, there's no karma created, no body residue created, no energy blocks created, right? And how do we do that? I mean, again, there are a lot of solutions, a lot of practices have allowed us to do. So number one is obviously one of the things is 4 foundations of mindfulness from the Satipatthana Sutta, which I just finished that masterclass series from a Pyramid Valley platform. So Satipatthana offers these 4 foundations of mindfulness, breath awareness, and then you all know this, right? The mindfulness of body is about being aware of the breath, being aware of the body sensations. Mindfulness of feeling tone, Vedananupasana. It's about catching that you saw the 4 steps earlier, right? How that behavior happens. If you're able to be aware of each and every one of the steps, then we are able to catch ourselves before we form that suffering, before it becomes a psychosomatic disturbance, before it creates that karmic residue, right? And feeling tone is then similarly mindfulness of mind states, chittanupasana, witnessing the emotions, witnessing anxiety, witnessing agitation, witnessing calm. So you see the software running without executing the program. The moment you allow it to execute the program, it starts writing in your hard disk of your mind. And then the 4th stage is the mindfulness of mental objects or the insights, Dhammanupasana. What are the insights? Insights about impermanence. Don't worry too much about it. Everything is impermanent. This too shall pass. We've been learning that, right? So the moment we bring that cognitive wisdom to it, then we don't construct the beliefs. We don't construct the stories. We don't construct an identity. And our individuality is entirely made up. It's our creation. When we directly see that our sense of self, including our chronic condition narrative, I have diabetes, I am always stressed out. This is how my life is supposed to be. Our fixed story about who we are. Once we understand it's a construction of our own self, the moment we bring awareness to it, the body is free to manifest that pattern. It doesn't manifest that pattern. That's the level at which the physiological and the psychological reorganization can happen, which is what we call as cleansing. Purification. Buddhists talk about as purification. What is purification? It's about purifying all the harmful tendencies that we have, all the samskaras or all the shankaras that we have. And you've seen the science behind it. Now we're seeing the behavioral aspect of it, right? So we all know how meditation cleanses or purifies that. And as I keep talking about my favorite book, Mind Illuminated, it talks about how Ana-Pana-Sati, the depths of Ana-Pana-Sati clears or cleanses those karma. It's as good as if, for example, you boil water, right? There is this bubbles that rise up. In deep states of meditation, when your brain goes into those theta and delta states, right, automatically the karma dissolves. The karmic impressions dissolves. That is why mindfulness meditation is one of the most effective meditation, both at a healing of a physical level, but also karmic healing, right? And then Buddha talks about those different stages as well. How depending on the level of the karmic healing, you become an arihant, you have become a different part of the yogi, right? And then whether you become a re-entrant or whatever, the levels of your cleansing decides that. And the primary aim of meditation, the meditation also brings another aspect of awareness, right? Is to create a certain distance between you and your physical, mental, and energy bodies. Who are you? Who am I? That in fact, this afternoon, I'm talking at Pyramid Valley, and it's also available on YouTube on Shiva Sutras. Shiva Sutras are a fantastic treatise on consciousness. What is Shiva? Today's, and by the way, happy Shivaratri to people who are already in Sunday in India, right? So Shiva is nothing but that consciousness, that universal consciousness, and each of one is part of that. The moment we elevate our level of consciousness, we realize I am not the body, I am not the mind. So meditation allows us that space to look at that suffering from away from identifying with it. When that distance exists, something fundamentally shifts. The memories, the karmic memories are still there. The program memories are still there, right? But I will dip into it when I need them. If I don't use them, right? Obviously, there are some learnings that also have happened from the past, right? So when I need them, I use it. When I no longer need it, I don't use it. So I am a master. What Patriji talks about, be a master. Master of your destiny, master of your emotions, master of our thoughts. So meditation gives that space between that programming and our action or our thought or our behavior. My mind belongs to me. I am not my mind. Right? When I'm observing, I'm getting anxious. That state doesn't trigger a full hormonal cascade. The cortisol doesn't spike. The inflammation doesn't deepen. I'm able to stop it at the time before that chemistry is reinforced or enforced. So when I experience a physical sensation, I don't react to it. Right? Even in Vipassana circles, they talk about when you observe a physical sensation, you observe it, you bring it awareness so that it doesn't go into the next steps of causing additional pain or suffering. And as we continue to do it, number one, meditation gets you into awareness, right? So you are not causing any of those, you're trying to create a distance between the stimulus and your response. And most importantly, meditation cleanses a lot of karmic things. For example, I keep mentioning that, right? It reduces a lot of craving. We've seen that. I keep talking about my example of craving for coffee, how it disappeared naturally, automatically. Similarly, it dissolves fear. A lot of people let go of fear, stage fear. We've seen that. People come out and then start speaking in front of a big audience. So all these are karmic patterns, or karmic patterns again, either comes from previous generations as part of a genetic cycle or kind of gets programmed during our lifetime. Both of them dissolve because that pattern we don't start reinforcing, right? The mechanism is the same thing. Interruption of the reactive loop at the neurochemical level. What yogic science has been talking about for ages, now neuroscience is now measuring it and saying that yes, interrupt the loop, stop the loop. In fact, most of the chemicals in the what do you call it, in the medicines, most of the chemicals also do the same thing. They obstruct, they stop a certain molecule, they introduce certain molecules to stop a certain cell of behaving a different way so that it doesn't generate the harmful neurochemicals. And being in awareness for just 3 minutes will enable to see an immediate difference. That's why they say 3 breaths, or just focusing on your breath for a few minutes, right? So meditation cleanses whatever is happening. So that's one powerful thing about mindfulness meditation. Whereas the other aspect of so now I know meditation is cleansing all my aspects, all my past karma, all my residues, right? There's also this other aspect of not adding to more karma. Meditation introduces awareness, but how do I not add karma? So one of the things about one of the paths that spiritual science talks about is also karma yoga. Karma is action. All of us are not yogis, right? Sit in meditation for hours and then we have nothing to do. So we sit in meditation, we come back and start interacting with people, start interacting with family, start interacting with situations. There are problems to solve at work, problems to solve in relationships. How do you do all that? So as we continue to do that, we don't add karma. We need to be conscious of it, right? Karma yoga is basically that yoga in which you perform action in that level of awareness, right? So karma yoga frees you, dissolves the mental patterns, reveals higher nature and transcends limitation. And again, it's just a reframing of what we talked about. It's about introducing awareness to every action that we do. Are we acting from a place of awareness and freedom or from a place of compulsion and unconsciousness? Like we said, it is a volition that we do, right? So for example, we can act compulsively. Any act of compulsion creates entanglement, creates a residue, right? So anything that you need to do, we all know, right? If I'm forced to do something, if I'm pressured to do something, because of whatever reasons, financial situation, health reasons, family situations, and that kind of entangles you into that web. That is the entanglement is that psychosomatic loop that we talked about. Again, karma yoga has nothing to do with the action you perform. It's about how you perform. Again, reiterating what it is, right? So meditation is one path, but then going forward, a lot of people who don't meditate also, it's about the way they perform that action. When we are performing it from a place of consciousness, continue to perform, that also leads to liberation, right? Even see, seemingly good deeds, charitable acts, helpful gestures, if they are performed from a sense of compulsion, then it adds karma. So every action leads us to either a process of entanglement or process of liberation. It's up to us. Meditation gives us that space. But as we go into our lives, again, mindfulness of action. As I do every action, we have a choice. Every single activity that we engage, right, could be very trivial or could be extraordinary. It can serve two purposes. Every action that we do also allows us to kind of reduce that karmic load, reduces that psychosomatic disturbances. How? By being aware of the action that we perform. For example, this whole initiative that you are doing on Stillness Beats, it requires effort. But if we are doing it with volition, I like doing this, or not even thinking about like, not even, I mean, it's more about, oh my God, I'm doing it because I'm having to do it because someone told me. The moment you are away from it, then every action that you perform is itself an act of liberating yourself from karma. So actions performed with awareness and detachment become pathways to freedom and self-realization. So that's what is karma yoga. Dhyana yoga is about meditation, but for people who are not into the practice of meditation, once they get this wisdom, every act that they perform, you see a lot of yogis, a lot of great people, a lot of industrialists, a lot of philanthropists, right? I mean, they're doing great. And then a lot of people in the West who come up with brilliant ideas, right? And they makes it successful. That is because they have full energies. Why do they do it? Because they do it with that sense of liberation, with that sense of awareness. And I think we covered this actions that bind and actions that liberate, right? When our actions create bondage, it creates attachment to outcomes. When we are doing something purely for the base of outcomes, the process of entanglement creates bondage. Bondage is again karma, karmic residue, right? Whereas when we are doing actions with what is effortlessly, when you actions that create freedom, actions that create patience, could be anything, right? It's not just meditation service. The point I'm trying to do is it's not just about meditation service. You could be a wonderful player, but when you are playing with that abandon, playing with that liberated sense, then you are in sense of that flow that we talk about, right? So as they continue to engage in that play of cricket, in that play of singing, whatever, without that entanglement, without that creation of bondage, automatically karmic residue gets dissolved, right? And if we perform action miserably with resistance and complaint, it is karma. If you perform the same action joyfully and effortlessly with full presence, it becomes karma yoga, right? And lastly, as as we say, and Sadhguru wonderfully says in his book, right? Two paths to freedom from karma in karma yoga, right? Apart from meditation, You act with awareness or act with abandon. Act with awareness, we talked about it, how it creates a sense of space every time meditation and practices like this create, or you're consciously in the present moment, like what Eckhart Tolle talks about. When you act with awareness, bringing complete consciousness and presence to every action, you don't create karma, you let go of karmic residue. The second way is act with abandon. Abandon is full celebration. You abandon your sense of self. You are in that state of flow. When you teach, when you play, when you sing, when you act, right? So you act with complete abandon, complete surrender. So when you are completely surrendered to the action itself, you're doing it. It's also called as autotelic, right? So when you do an action for the sake of action, not for the sake of outcome, then you don't create karma. You lose your self-consciousness in that flow of activity. Like they say, right, in yogic terms, the actor merges with the action. Then there is no ego, there's no ego mind that disturbs. The foundation of karma yoga lies in the profound shift of focus. Be involved in the process and not the product. All right. And my dear friends, we all have this choice from moving from a victim of circumstances, victim of consciousness, victim of karma, victim of programming, to becoming an author. That's what Patriji says, be a master, master of your story, master of your reality, master of your destiny, right? So we all need to recognize we are not victim of our biology. We are, that's why epigenetics also talks about that, right? You're not a victim of your genes. You can change. You don't need to get the same things that your parents had passed in the DNA, right? So we are the author of our biology, we are the author of our psychology, we are the author of our destiny. And acknowledging karma means that you see life is 100% our doing, right? And we've seen the mechanism, we've seen the trap, the unconscious repetition, we've seen the antidote, conscious awareness and equanimity at each level. And the result is happiness, result is joy, result is creating our destiny. And how do we write our life? The pen is awareness. We just be aware. Then we write our own stories. We write our own life, our own self. We don't need to wait for someone else's words to be impacting on our life. And like all of you have been doing, and all of you have been practicing, meditation is one of the most powerful tools to create that awareness. Besides that, every time we do some activity, the more aware of that activity we are, we don't create that psychosomatic disturbances, we don't create energy blocks, we don't create karma. So now that we know all that, and we are all in this path of elevating our consciousness, elevating our awareness. As we do, there is this teachings of Buddha, there is teaching of yogic science, and Patriji's spreading of meditation, the practice of Ana-Pana-Sati meditation. We have the tools, the choice is ours. And thankfully, we are all in that path, and we are also in that path to educate millions more. And I really appreciate the work of this entire team. My heartfelt gratitude to each one of you to spreading this work, doing this work. Vipul, thank you. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. That was really a deep explanation about how karma really works. And as you were talking about the karma yoga, I remembered what I read from Swami Vivekananda. He says we actually label good karma and bad karma and try to increase more good karmas to negate the bad karmas. That's not the whole idea is. Both are like, one is iron chain and the other one is a golden chain. Again, you are bonded with it. So you underlined that we have to be aware and equanimous and be neutral to every act that we are doing and do the work for the sake of work, the action for the sake of action, which is really very beautiful. Thank you so much for taking us through that wisdom, sir. So shall we open the platform for the questions from participants,
Yes,
sir?
yes.
Friends, if you have any questions, please type it on the chat. You can raise your hand and ask the question and talk to Sir.
So any questions, you can type it on the chat window or raise your hand. Probably most of this has already been covered through the week. So
Yes,
people are
sir.
very clear.
Clear that we don't have any questions. It's so beautiful, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for sharing this deep wisdom with us. Always grateful to you. And sir, the stillness retreat is coming up in this month. Can you please tell us about that program?
Yes, sure. So most of us have been products of stillness retreat. So I just finished this mindfulness course, and then the whole idea of so we're having the stillness retreat in Pyramid Valley, Bangalore, from February 20th to 24th, right? So it's a 5-day event. Earlier we used to do a 7-day event, but thanks to the pressures of career, life, and all that, people wanted a shorter version. So we're doing this 5-day event. Again, the whole objective of this 5-day event is for us to go deep into meditation. We do 7 to 8 hours of meditation practice every day, and then whatever I've covered in the breath by breath course in terms of taking you step by step on the Ana-Pana-Sati meditation, we teach that. We make sure you get into the next stages during those 5 days, and there are no distractions. We minimize distractions by allowing you to leave your phone in the comfortable custody of the reception, right? So that the phone doesn't disturb you. So you leave your phones, you leave your devices away for 5 days. That itself brings a lot of freedom. And then you are spending time in meditation in the Kabir Bhavan pyramid as well as in the mega pyramid. We also do the 5 element meditation on the, because we are all formed of those 5 elements meditation in the pristine nature of Pyramid Valley. And there are a few wisdom sessions. In fact, this stillness retreat, we're going to touch upon a lot of yogic wisdom and very few wisdom sessions. We extended the time for meditation as well. And a lot of people have gone through that process, gone through that practice. My whole objective is to make sure people come in, even new meditators, they kind of reach to like the stage 3 or stage 4 before they leave, right? So it's a wonderful place, and for people who have visited Pyramid Valley, so definitely it's a wonderful opportunity for you to spend 5 days there. Light food, more meditation, silence. Yeah, of course, there is 3 days of silence, mauna. Those 5 days, day 2, 3, and 4, complete mauna, mindful eating, mindful walking, and being in that mindfulness of breathing most of the time. So please do register. I mean, there is all information available on pyramidvalley.org website. You can go to pyramidvalley.org/stillness and you can register. I think there are a few more seats, probably last few seats left because we have just a few more days to go. But people who are in Bangalore, people who are in India, or of course people who are in abroad want to make that dash, quick last minute dash to attend the retreat, please do so. All right. So thank you, Prithvi.
Yes. We have shared the link in the chat. Sirisha shared it. Please go look into it if you want the details, and please do register. It's a must attend retreat for all of us. So we have a hand raised from Madhu. Let's hear from her.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my husband wants to talk to here.
I was just listening to your talk. Thank you so much. I'm Dilip from Australia, from Melbourne. I just wanted to know that you talk about violation. Well, and does that, to me, it felt that you should, that I should be, it meant is alert awareness. Is that correct?
So you meant the question is volition?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So volition is it's not necessarily alert, it's the intention behind the action.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Volition is the intention behind my action, right? So I might be doing the same thing, but if my intention is causing harm, intention is I'm doing something compulsively, that is volition, right? So if
Okay.
my intention is right, then that is volition. That's what I said, right? That slide talks about how you do it, is what is volition.
Yeah, intention.
So that's what I that's how I understood that it's an alert awareness. Does that equate to that?
Yes, you need that alertness and awareness to understand the intention behind it. Yeah. So
Intention behind,
volition,
yes.
one part of it is alertness and awareness, but then there is the substance of that volition, right? Whether I'm doing it compulsively, I'm doing it out of fear, am I doing
Yeah.
it out of something else? So that is the meaning part of it, but that meaning comes when we are alert and aware.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Like Goenka ji gives this example in Vipassana, like a surgeon taking a knife and cutting the stomach, doing this surgery to save a life, whereas a robber, uh, slitting the stomach to rob things, a thief. So the intention behind the actions are different. The action is same, but the intention, one, the doctor wants to save, other wants to take off the life. So that's what is evolution is, right, sir?
Correct. Yes, so that's in fact, there the volition is kind of forced due to the profession, right? So what you are saying is right, but more often than not, it's also relates to what we are doing as a matter of fact, right? So as we continue to do it every day. But yeah, it's a wonderful example. Yes.
Yes, sir. So friends, anybody else want to ask question? Please feel free. So we have one question in the chat. Be involved with the process. Can you give simple example for it, sir, to be
Be
involved with the
involved
process?
with the process. So very, very simple. Mindful eating, right? So what do we do when we eat, when we have our food? Being involved in the process. What do I mean by being involved in the process, right? You are aware of everything that you are consuming. Attention on the process of eating, being aware of all the sensations, the touch, the smell, the taste, the sound, the sight of it, sight of the food. When we are when we are completely involved in the process, without looking at our phones, without talking to somebody, without looking at a TV, right? Then we are involved with the process. Similarly, when we are doing any work, right? It could be teaching. When I am speaking to you, I shouldn't be thinking about what is it, what am I going to do the rest of the day, or very simple listening, very tough, right? Suddenly you're talking to somebody, and then that's what we talk about mindful listening. Mindful is completely involved in the processes, completely listening to all the words a person is talking about it. Usually, what happens, we keep listening, whereas part of our consciousness is thinking about the next step, or oh my God, when is he going to leave? What is the question is asking? Why is he so dumb, or why is he so, I'm not able to answer, I need to make up somehow. So all those chatter keeps coming, right? So complete involvement is allowing your entire complete 8 or whatever 128 bits of consciousness into what we are doing. That is involved with the process. It can be with any as simple as drinking your coffee, eating your breakfast, listening to somebody, walking. Mindful Buddha talks about mindful walking. How do we get completely involved in the process? Feeling all the sensations in your body, listening to all the things that are happening without your conscious mind intervening with analysis, with judgment. Right? You are not walking because the doctor told you to walk. You are not walking because someone forced you to walk. Are you walking for the pleasure of walking? Right? The pleasure happens when we are completely engaged in the process. Similarly, talking, we all know, right? A lot of times we talk just for the sake of talking, but then when we are talking with that passion of communicating something useful to the other person, we are involved in the process, right? I hope that's good enough examples of involved in the process. It's
Yes, sir.
it's very easy to define and talk about it, but very difficult to practice being in the process, and that is where alertness and awareness comes in.
Yes, sir. So thank you for asking that question. So friends, any other questions we can take up? Otherwise, let's give it a call.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir, I don't see any questions on the chat. Thank you, friends, for your active participation. So thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom today. It was really wonderful understanding about the karma and how mind body are connected. Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you very much for the program. Thank you very much to each one of you taking this to thousands of people. So really appreciate your work. I'm always inspired. I'm always moved by the way you are doing this. consistently, right? And then periodically. And I hope best wishes for continuing the energy, continuing the classes, the sessions, the wisdom that you are sharing. All right. So till we meet, thank you and all the best to everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and happy Shivratri to everybody. See you all tomorrow again at the same time, friends. Bye. Thank you.